Good afternoon. A warm welcome to everyone. I, Dr. Janhavi Rao, faculty at Department of Information Technology, on behalf of Chikitsak Samuhas, Sir Sitaram and Lady Shantabai, Patkar College of Arts and Science, and VP-Varde College of Commerce and Economics, would like to welcome you all for one-day intercollegiate webinar, Cyber Security in the Digital Era. I would first like to give you a brief introduction about our college. Our college was established in 1964. The college has various aided and self-financed courses at the undergraduate and the postgraduate levels, along with a diploma and certification course. We are an autonomous college affiliated to the University of Mumbai. We are proud to mention that our college has received several awards. Our college is an ISO 9001 2015 certified and DBT Star Scheme Award. We are also achiever of India Evaluation Excellence Award 2018 for Berkshire Media, USA. In April 2020, as per the Education World India College Ranking for 2020 and 21, we hold 45th All India rank and 10th in the state of Maharashtra. We at the Department of Information Technology and Department of Computer Science conduct many workshops, seminars, conferences at university, state, national and international level for the student, teachers, industry professional and researchers. Our college is affiliated to the Computer Society of India as an institutional members. We also got approval to start PhD. Let me welcome to the presence here today of our Honorable Chief Education Officer Dr. Mala Kharkar and Honorable In Charge Principal Dr. Tisha Joseph. I would also like to note the presence of Chief Coordinator Mrs. Ruchita Dalvi, Coordinator of the Computer Department of the Information Technology Mrs. Namrata Kavre Shinde, Coordinator of the Department of Computer Science Mrs. Manali Patil Save, and Mr. Chayan Bhattacharyaji, Co-Coordinator of the Department of Information Technology. Let me also welcome all the faculty members of the Department of Information Technology and Computer Science. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce a 15-day cybersecurity certification course that was conducted in the academic year 2021-22 in collaboration with the W Cyber team, and 48 participants have successfully completed the certification. In this academic year also, we are planning to organize a 15-day cybersecurity certification course in collaboration with the Fortune 4 advisor from 19 November 2022. Before we begin with the today's webinar, let me introduce you all to our today's speaker, Mr. Rohit Date. Mr. Rohit Date is a cybersecurity professional and is currently working as a security researcher at LoginSoft. He is a director of Fortune 4 advisor. Sir has also worked as CNEC Red Team as a senior associate at Video India. He holds a BE degree in electronics. Mr. Date has worked with a various organizations and worked on multiple web and networks, API vulnerabilities assessment, and penetration testing projects for the client in medical, IT, banking, and other various industries. He also responsible for the hiring and training of technical candidates in the organization. Apart from this, he holds numerous achievements like Pro Hacker rank at a Hack the Box, conducted training on cybersecurity for Maharashtra State Police, completed 7 batches and 100 plus lab in pen tester labs. Mr. Date is also offensive security web expert, offensive security certified professional, certified penetration testing expert, and certified information security and ethical hacker. Sir, we are pleased to have you among us. With this, will request Mr. Rohit Date to take over the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So, like the hello,
Yes, sir.
yes. So, like the topic says, today we will be discussing about cybersecurity in the modern age, and I will be talking about how why cybersecurity is required in the modern age, and why the different careers you can select in cybersecurity, and then I will also be briefly discussing about the entire syllabus that we will be following in this course that we will be having for 15 days. So let me just present my screen. Okay. So, firstly, about me, I think ma'am gave a really good description about who I am and what I have done till now. But still, I work as a security researcher at Fortune 4 and Synac Red Team, and also I work as a director at Fortune 4 Expert Advisors. And I have completed multiple certifications in your cybersecurity as well as have completed my graduation as an electronics engineer. So today, what we will be covering is firstly an introduction to cybersecurity. Now, what is cybersecurity? Why do we need cybersecurity? Then the next thing, once we understand what the cybersecurity is, why it is needed, we will be discovering all the different domains in cybersecurity. Now, usually people think that cybersecurity is a part of your IT, but cybersecurity in itself is a really big profession, and there are multiple job roles and job prospects in cybersecurity itself. So we will be discussing few of these job roles and few of the job profiles that you can be getting into once you get into the cybersecurity field. Then the next one will be choosing a cybersecurity career. Like, how do you start your cybersecurity career? What kind of prerequisite skills do you require? How do you approach people to help you to get into this field? And also, the last thing we will be doing is preparing for interviews. How can we prepare for interviews to get into this cybersecurity field? So the first thing is, what is cybersecurity? Now, can anyone in the live chat tell me what they think cybersecurity is and why cybersecurity is needed? Okay, to track people after hacking, right? Anyone else? To protect our data. Okay, but these are why cybersecurity is needed. But what exactly is cybersecurity? Okay, yeah, someone said to is the way to protect any stored data. Data security. Okay, so we have a few right answers. So cybersecurity is nothing but application of technology, processes, and controls to protect any kind of IT, any kind of resources which are connected to the internet. So that can be networks, that can be programs, that can be your laptops, mobile devices, or any kind of data which is hosted on the internet or somehow connected on the internet. So what it does is it aims to reduce the attacks. Now there isn't anything as completely secure. So cybersecurity aims at reducing the number of cyber attacks that can occur in an organization, and it just makes it less easy for an attacker to get into your system. Now it can be the protection of any kind of digital assets, like I said, and the main Goal of cybersecurity is to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of any information that is stored on that internet. So, if you see, if you spoke around 20 years ago, if the internet was still relatively new in India, we had maybe emails and few other applications which we were using on the internet. But if you seen in say 2010, 2011, we had Facebook, we had many other applications which were connected in the internet, and many people had started using the internet. And if you look at now, especially after the lockdown, I think almost everything has moved online. We can order food online, we can consult doctors online, we can do all of our banking needs online, we can speak to one another, we can meet people who are staying far away online. So I think around 80% of our lives have moved online. So since this new age is completely moving to a digital age, a lot of our personal information as well goes online, where people are able to, if an attacker wanted to, they could hack into a website, they could hack into our personal accounts, devices, and steal any of these data. So that is the main reason why cybersecurity is needed, because everything is moving online and we need some way to protect all of this data which is going online. So here are just a few of these important statistics from 2021 which I had picked up. So around 4.1 billion records were of data were breached in 2021. So there are websites like this where once any attacker has breached a like they have breached some website, for example say bigbasket.com or say uber.com, any of these websites have been hacked, an attacker will try and download that data and they will sell that data for in bitcoins or any other cryptocurrencies on one of these websites. Now raid forum was one which was really famous, and now it has been hacked, it has been stopped by FBI and multiple law enforcement agencies. But the main goal is not to stop any of these websites where your data is being sold, because if you stop any one of these websites, there are 100 other websites which are readily available online. So most of these breaches were financially motivated. So even if, like say, people were hacking Uber, they were hacking Big Basket, 70% of those breaches were not done just to play around with the company, but they were done specifically to cause some kind of financial loss to that company. For example, just think if me as an attacker, I was to hack into Amazon.com and take down their website for even 5 minutes. Now, 5 minutes, our internet going down for 5 minutes, or our say this live chat going down for 5 minutes wouldn't affect us financially that much. But for an organization like Amazon.com, 5 minutes can be losses in crores of rupees. So many of these were breaches were financially motivated. Now, 52% of these breaches were through hacking those websites directly. 28% involved some kind of malware. Now, malware is something that we will be learning about more as we go ahead in our course. But basically, what malware does is it is nothing but a malicious software. So it is a software which has some kind of bad purpose. So it can go maybe on a website or on a device, and maybe it might lock out your all your files, or it might overload your device, which might make it to crash, or someone might be able to monitor everything you're doing on that device using that malware. And the last is that 32 to 33% of these attacks were phishing related attacks. So phishing is nothing but using fake emails, using SMS to try and convince a user to give out sensitive information. So we will be learning about what phishing is and how to do phishing, even having a practical about how to host a complete phishing website in the course. So 32 to 33% of these attacks were carried out through phishing and social engineering. Now, hackers attack every 39 seconds and on an average 2 to 4 times a day. Now, these were statistics from last year, which is 2021. But if you look like right now in 2022, these statistics might have gone even higher. The number of attacks happening every A day might be even 3,000, 4,000 times a day. And the worst part was that the average time that it took to identify any kind of hack that has happened was 7 months. Now, 7 months is a long time in which any attacker or hacker who is in your network will be able to get into that network, steal all your data, and even maybe steal like sensitive data from any of your employees, such as their bank records, etc. So 7 months is a really long time before an attack has been actually identified in a network. Now, in 2016, Uber was hacked. That is an outdated one, but let's look at a more recent one which happened. So, more recently, a hacker who was a 17-year-old boy was able to hack into the entire Uber network, and they were able to steal data and send messages to all the employees of Uber saying that I announce I am a hacker and Uber has suffered a data breach. Slack has been stolen, confidential data has been stolen, and so basically after that what Uber did was they were trying to get back from this attack. So they asked people to stop using Slack and stop using many of their internal applications. So this small attack caused a lot of reputational losses for Uber, as well as a lot of confidential data was stolen from Uber. And as you can see, whole world is spending in billions of dollars on cybersecurity. And right now, here it says that the basic salary in India is 4 to 8 lakhs through. But one advantage of getting into cybersecurity is that, say, for example, if there are 10 job openings in India, there might be only one qualified person for each 10 job openings. So there is a lot of demand, and there are very few people who actually can work that job. So there are many job openings in cybersecurity as well. Now, right here, I've just highlighted all the different cybersecurity domains. Now, this might seem like a really big graph and might look confusing, but we do not have to get into each and every one of those domains right now. We will just be covering a few of them, like, for examples, frameworks and standards, career development, what is security operations center, threat intelligence. We will just pick few of these roles and we will discuss a little more about them. So, does anyone want to know about any specific roles in this whole image over here? Or if you want, you can just take a few minutes to go through the image. Okay, I think we can move on to this. So, the first one will be a security analyst or a security manager. So, this is more of an entry level job where people who will be in charge of maintaining the security of all the systems, all the departments in an organization. So even if you see in your own college itself, there might be an office which might have someone who is taking care of accounts, someone who is taking care of admin work. You have your different teachers, you have HODs. So there are different departments in each and every organization. So a security analyst will be responsible for making sure that all these departments, all the security systems in all these departments are in place, and they should have an overall knowledge of how different types of attacks happen and how those attacks can be prevented. And they don't necessarily have to be an expert in each and every one of those fields to prevent those attacks, but they should know who to approach in case of like, for example, say if I have to implement a firewall, they should know who to approach. If they have to solve some kind of issues in the website, they should know which team to approach, who to get in touch with, and they should be able to coordinate this whole process. And once you've worked as a security analyst for a long time, you get promoted to a security manager, which takes on a more overall role of that entire organization, and they'll have multiple security analysts working under them. Now, the top industries for these security analysts will be your financial services, government, healthcare, manufacturing, non-profit, Even defense jobs is something that s- have a lot of like cybersecurity has a lot of demand in the defense sector as well. So the next one will be a security specialist. Now, security specialists are designated with maintaining the automated security of your organization. So these people will be in charge of all the automating all the processes for security which are happening in an organization. So, for example, if I come in as a new employee on a in a certain organization, I will be like the person will be responsible for giving me a laptop, making sure that all the security features, security software have been installed on my laptop, that I am informed about all the security policies, procedures which are to be followed. Then making sure that once I log in, I necessarily do have to change my password. I change my password in every 2 months or 3 months, depending on the uh, policies of the company, and also making sure that all the softwares that I am using in my laptop, all of these are kept up to date. Things like these are something. This is a very low entry level description that I gave you, but this is basically what the security specialists do. Then the next one is an incident responder. So in the chat, someone had said that after a hack has happened, catching the criminals or even investigating how this hack has happened. So that is where these incident responders come into the picture. Like I just showed you, Uber was hacked by a 17-year-old kid. Now we know that Uber was hacked, but how did we come to know that it was a 17-year-old 17-year-old boy who hacked Uber? So, incident responders, what they do is they will go through all the logs, everything that the attacker has tried to do in an organization, and then they will try to identify from where the attack happened, like in which country is this person sitting, in which city, in which state. Can we find out who the person is? Have they left any kind of information through which we can track them down? How did this incident happen? Can we prevent such incidents from happening in the future? So this is where incident responders come into play, and this is also a job which is highly in demand in India as well as in abroad. So again, the same kind of industries will be applicable here, such as finance, non-profit, tech, aerospace, defense. All these industries have a really high uh, high demand for these kind of jobs. Now here we have said that most incident responders require 2 to 3 years of experience in information security or cyber forensics, but that isn't really necessary. If you have sufficient knowledge, if your concepts are clear, you also do get jobs right as freshers in as incident responders. So any questions so far? Okay. Any links I think can be shared towards the end of the lecture. Okay, so the next one is a cryptographer. Now, many of you might know that websites nowadays have these SSL encryption, like SSL, they are protected by a SSL certificate. So these SSL certificates or passwords which are stored in an encrypted format, all of these things, all of these algorithms are devised by some people sitting in certain organizations which provide these kind of services. So cryptographers are someone who do these jobs, and cryptographers generally have a really strong hold in mathematics. They have a strong hold in your statistics as well as programming, because they are responsible for developing these mathematical models which are used for encryption in most of these SSL certificates or any other encryption that is used. Now, the next one, sorry, and cryptographers as well. Cryptographers is generally where you do require some kind of experience in cybersecurity. So maybe if you worked in say as a system administrator, or you worked in some kind of cybersecurity analyst roles, then maybe after a year or two, once you have some basic knowledge, getting into this field is usually easier. Then the next one is a security architect. Now, security architects are someone who help to build the entire architecture of like the security architecture of an organization. So, for example, say now we have network architects, which is a common role. People who design the entire network of your organization, they will decide where you need your routers to be, where you need your servers to be placed, how far each and every like labs in your say in your college will be, how to connect all of these systems. So a network architect is responsible for that. Similarly, a security architect is responsible to, like after this network architecture has been devised, he is responsible to make sure that security is implemented throughout this entire network architecture, and making sure that okay, if you have a firewall, that firewall is properly configured. If you have PCs, all of those PCs have certain kind of policies which make sure that each and every one of those PCs, CCTVs, routers, everything is secure. And again, security architects, generally you will get jobs in consulting roles, or your in the industry where, say for example, in your defense, government, financial industries, getting a job in any of these industries is easier. And here you need both a good understanding of cybersecurity as well as a good understanding of your network architecture as well. So maybe something like someone with a background in CCNA and a good background in cybersecurity can work in a security architect role. Now, the next one is a security auditor. So, security auditors are people who, like, for example, let's take a bank. Now, each and every bank has a governing body, which is the RBI. So, the RBI will come out with guidelines that, okay, the banks have to follow these guidelines, these security guidelines to be compliant. And and RBI will have an audit every year to make sure that each and every bank is compliant with these security rules, or else they give a very huge fine to all of these banks. So security auditors are people who generally help to implement all of these guidelines in your organizations, or they will come in internally and they will audit all of these guidelines which have been implemented in that organization, just to make sure that everything is implemented properly, and all of these policies, all of these procedures, everything are being followed in that organization. So it can be something like, say, for example, employees should be changing their password every 3 months. Employees shouldn't be accessing any social media websites on their laptops. Then they shouldn't be opening any emails from random people that they are getting. Implementing all these policies and making sure that they are followed in an organization is what the security auditors do. Now, for someone working as a security auditor, you need to have an overall understanding of cybersecurity, as well as you need to have really good communication skills, because this is one field where you continuously have to go back and forth with your clients, discussing with them, okay, is this implemented? Is this being followed? Can we have evidences for each of these things? So you need to have really good communication skills as well over here. And this is also a job which is really easy for freshers to get into, as long as you're able to communicate well and you have a good understanding in about your basic cybersecurity fundamentals. Now, the next one is a forensic expert. So, like we said, like we seen previously, around 30% of attacks which happen throughout the world happen through malwares. Now, these malwares, once they've been installed in some device, or yes, once they've been installed on some device, we, like organizations or even people, sometimes like to know who could have done this attack, what exactly is happening through these attacks. Now, this malware might have locked all my files. Can I unlock all of these files, because there might be some kind of sensitive information in like stored on that device. So that is where these forensic experts come in. So what these forensic experts will do is they follow proper procedures, where they will make a copy of that device. They will investigate the whole malware or the whole attack which happened, how it happened. If is it possible that we can reverse any of the damage that this malware has done. So that is where forensic experts come in. So it is similar to people like your actual forensic experts in crime scene. But here, instead of working on a actual like live crime scene, these people work on your cybercrime cases. And these jobs are really common, like very common in your government agencies and also in certain corporate agencies as well. Now, the next one is a penetration tester. So, penetration tester is more like an ethical hacking job where, for example, say I have been given this website. Now, this is obviously a dummy website which is vulnerable by design so that we can test on it and learn. So, for example, say I have been given this website, and as an ethical hacker, what I will try and do is I will try and find as many flaws or vulnerabilities in this website, and I will try to uh, I will explain to the client how I did it and how they could secure their website so that a real world hacker could not hack any like do anything with this website. So let's go to maybe my account. Okay, so for example, now here there are multiple phones. So what an attacker might be able to do is they might be able to uh, modify this the price of this phone. Or for example, right now you can see I have around uh, $99 of credit over here. So I might be able to buy this $29 phone. But as an attacker, say if I want to buy a phone which costs maybe $599 and I only have 99 in my account. So what I could do is I could try changing the price of this phone, or I could try to increase the credit in my account without actually putting in any money into my account. Now we are limited on time, so I will not be showing you a practical of this. But once we start the course, we will be having practical sessions of this as well. So, as a penetration tester or an ethical hacker, you will try to hack websites, mobile application, office networks, and many other technologies, and you will explain to your client how you have hacked these technologies and how they can secure themselves. So this is another field which is really easy for freshers to get into. I started my career as a penetration tester, and for this, you do not necessarily require any prerequisites as long as you have interest and are ready to keep yourself updated daily in cybersecurity. Getting into this field is really easy. Now, the next one is a security engineer. Now, security engineers are people who have years of IT experience, and what they do is they are responsible for securely developing any of your applications, such as, say, your mobile applications, your websites, all of these, making sure that these applications are developed securely. So, security engineers are responsible for doing that. And the next one will be a source code auditor. Now all of your programs, all of your applications are written in some kind of coding language, so that can be PHP, Python, Java, C++. So as an ethical hacker, someone might be able to visit this website and remove flaws in the website, but even many flaws get left out by, say, these ethical hackers or penetration testers, and maybe if one person has not found it, another person might be able to find that flaw and exploit it. Just to prevent that, we also have another role which is called as a source code auditor or a secure code auditor. So what they do is they will go through the entire source code of that application, and they will point out security flaws which can be present through by reading that entire source code. So for this, you need to have a good understanding of how program works. You don't necessarily need to be a programmer, but you have to have a good understanding of how the entire program flows, and you need to have a good background in cybersecurity as well. And the next one is user education. Now, obviously, there are people who are taking care of all these securities in the back end. Someone who is implementing security, someone who might be hacking just to improve the security, someone who might be going through the code just to make your applications and your network secure. But at the same time, the most vulnerable uh, point in any organization is always the human factor. Like people are the most easiest to hack. So educating your users about how any of their flaws could lead to them being hacked or their entire organization being hacked is one of the most important fields in this sector. So in this, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will be taking lectures, for example, daily. But what you can be doing in this user education for corporates is also maybe holding phishing campaigns where they have 100, 500 employees. You will be sending phishing mails throughout that organization, and then you will see how many people have actually clicked the link, uh, how many people have actually given their email address password as well. And then you hold a session maybe for these for all the employees, stating to them that okay, this is how your organization could hack, or a small mistake on your end could cause your organization to have a really like big financial and reputational loss, like the Uber hack which we just seen now, where that 17-year-old boy sent out messages, was also due to a human error in their organization. Now, these are a few other cybersecurity roles. Malware analyst, people who actually analyze these malwares and can find ways to detect these malwares before they are actually executed on any systems. Security software developer, cybercrime investigator, risk manager. So you can read about any of these professions on this guide over here. I will be sharing the presentation after this, so you can copy the links from there. Now, the next thing is getting started with cybersecurity. But before we move on, does anyone have any doubts? Okay, no doubt. Okay, so starting in cybersecurity, now I have given you few of these career paths in cybersecurity that can be taken, or few of the job roles. But the main thing is listing out which job role you really are interested in, because maybe you might be technically sound, but if you're not interested in that specific role, you might not put that much interest into it, and you might not grow that much. So the first one is based on your skills as well as your preferences, pinpointing which exactly cybersecurity position would best fit you. So there is this one guide on GitHub which I will be sharing that you can use. Let's just open this website. So this guide has all of the different cybersecurity careers which you can choose, then what courses can be done, what all prerequisite skills do you require for any of these cybersecurity careers, as well as practice resources. So you can go through this guide as well to narrow down which cybersecurity career you think would best suit you. Then that is one way. But after you have decided, how do you start? So one good thing about this cybersecurity community is that people are really open to help each other over here, and most of the resources, most of the tools that we use, and most of the material that we use to study as well, everything is open source, and people as well are ready to communicate with you. So maybe you can go on LinkedIn, maybe you can go on Twitter, and you can get in touch with people who you know are working in the cybersecurity field, and who might be able to help you one on one. So get in touch with these people, talk to them, understand what they do on a daily basis in their job, and if that job is for you or not, and how they started, how you can start your career as well. And the yeah, one of the most important skill is to actually think like a cyber criminal. Since we are trying to prevent these hackers or cyber criminals from performing these bad activities, we also have to start to think like them, and we have to keep ourselves updated with all of the new cyber crime which are coming in, like in news or in the industry every day. Like every day people use new methods, new techniques to hack into organizations or websites, so we have to keep ourselves updated. And a few of the skills which would be useful before getting into the cybersecurity, now again I'm saying they might be useful, they are not a compulsory prerequisite. You can learn them as you are learning cybersecurity as well. So one of them would be learning a programming language. Then the next one is security and networking foundation. So if you have a good understanding about, say, what your OSI model is, your TCP/IP models, and different kind of network diagrams, that will also be good. Then logging and monitoring procedures, like maybe you know how to read Windows logs or any other kind of event logs which are being created. Then network defense tactics, how you can like even your PC or maybe your server, how can you protect any of those network devices or your router, how can you secure your routers, printers, any of these network devices. Now cryptography and access management practices, again implementing SSL, making sure that uh, not everyone has full access to any kind of resource on a device or throughout a network. Having these basic understandings is a useful skill when you are moving to cybersecurity, but you don't necessarily have to know it before moving into cybersecurity. Now, one more thing, like every industry, cybersecurity also has many certifications, and you don't necessarily have to have hundreds of certifications, one, two, and a good knowledge of the field is more than enough to help you get into this field. So, the most basic ones are the Security Plus or your SSSP, but these are very basic certificates, and most of the times you can also use open resources and get all the knowledge that most of these certificates offer. Even the novice level ones, most of the knowledge that they are sharing, you can learn on your own as well, maybe going to YouTube or I don't know, attending free courses in college or wherever possible. Then after that, there are multiple courses depending on which field you want to get into. Say, if you want to get into security management, you want to work as a security architect, you want to work in offensive operations, which is penetration testing, red teaming, ethical hacking, or if you want to work into security engineering, there are multiple courses, and you can keep going up in this ladder and learning all new of these, most of these new courses, and keeping yourself updated. But like I said, it doesn't have to be that you have to do all of these courses in line. Like me, from these, I just have these two courses, and I don't plan on doing many more in the coming future. And uh, I keep myself updated any which ways through blogs, through following YouTube channels, through solving many labs in the cybersecurity as well. There are endless number of resources, and you can keep yourself updated through any of these resources. Now, the next one is preparing for an interview. So, I think this is something, once you have good understanding of cybersecurity, maybe at least you've done a basic course or you've done some basic research on your own, then you can apply for a job in cybersecurity. Now, if you're applying for an entry level job, I have shared this link which has all the basic entry level questions which can be followed for cybersecurity. And the next is what you have to prepare is, for example, if you are applying for a digital forensics one, what kind of flows are used in this digital forensics. So no one will expect you to know everything in this particular field, but what they will expect from you is to at least have a good understanding of the overall procedure that is to be followed in that particular field. For example, in digital forensics, how do you collect your evidence, how do you store that evidence, how do you work on any of those evidences. Or if you are working in, say for example, your secure code review, so how do you like what kind of method do you use for code reviewing in x number of time, do you use a manual or automated approach. All of these things are something that you are expected to like you should have at least a basic understanding whenever you are going for an interview. And one of the most important aspects, I think, would be that most cybersecurity professionals are self-taught and have to keep on updating themselves. So, an interviewer, like this still happens not just for entry level, but even for someone like me, if I am applying for a job or if I am speaking to a client who would be offering me a project, they also tend to ask you like, how do you keep yourself updated? Where do you learn about the new attacks which are coming in as well? So as soon as you get into the cybersecurity field, you have to keep yourself updated with all the new kinds of attacks and all the new methods which are coming in this field. So that was all for the presentation. Now let me just share my screen and give you a gist of what we will be having in the course that we will be taking. Okay, so today I gave you a very brief introduction about cybersecurity, but right now we will be talking about the topics that will be covered in the course which we will be starting in the third week of November. So the first one would be an introduction to information security. So this will be what type of hackers are there, the different opportunities in the security domain, some of the most basic tools which are used in cybersecurity. Then the next one would be about network security. Now, since all organizations have some kind of network in like all organizations, all offices have some kind of network. So we will be learning about the basics of network security, how we can enumerate different ports, different devices which are present in a network. Then we will be learning about footprinting and OSINT techniques. So OSINT is open source intelligence. So collecting information about a certain person or a certain organization, how we can use different tools online as well as different methods online to find any information about a person or any organization. We will be learning about that. Then we also will be learning about social engineering, like I mentioned earlier. So this will be phishing and wishing. Phishing is where we will be sending emails. Like say, for example, I will uh, portray myself as google.com and I will send out emails to people. We will be learning how to do that as well. Then we will be learning about once someone has received a phishing email, how do you analyze if this mail is authentic or not? Or if it isn't genuine, how do you identify from where this mail might have originated as well? Then after that, we will be learning about the different kinds of malwares, how you can create any of these malwares. What is a rat? So rats are remote access tools which are used to control other devices. So this can be controlling your Windows devices, your Android devices. So how to create these as well. Then cracking passwords. So all the how to have a strong password, how an attacker could crack your password, as well as how we as testers use different tools to crack passwords in different organizations as well. And then we will be working on live network machines. So we will be simulating a live office network where there are multiple devices and how you can hack each and every one of those devices and gain access to each of these devices. Then the next one will be vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. So we will be talking about what exactly this vulnerability assessment and penetration testing is, how you can get into this field, and different opportunities such as bug bounty, where without even having a full-time job, you can get huge amount, like you can earn huge amounts as well. So, for example, say So this is something with blockchain. So these bug bounty platforms, there are platforms where people will come and they will tell us, okay, this is my technology. Like say Wormhole is a technology and it is a Web3 or blockchain technology. So they have put on their website over here on this platform, and if you're able to get any kind of critical vulnerability in that platform, they will reward you 10, I think this comes to 10 million US dollars worth of cryptocurrency, or if it's high, then they will give you $1 million and so on and so forth. So there are multiple platforms like this where you can earn huge amounts of money without even having a full-time job. So we will be talking about those different platforms as well. And many of the instructors in this course have already earned like lakhs of rupees and gained recognition from many international organizations as well working on these bug bounty platforms. And then after that, obviously, we will be teaching you about the tools that can be used in security testings and the different kind of vulnerabilities such as SQL injection, many of your business logic attacks, which can be found in many applications and reported on these platforms. And you can earn money and gain recognition from these different platforms as well. And then after that, also, we will be talking about authentication, 2FA bypass. And we will be having one session where we will pick up a particular website. And in that session, what we will do is we will divide that section where the trainer will take one website and he will try and pick out all the security flaws in that website, and then we will give you a website which we know, okay, you have a good chance of finding something over here. You can go and find the security flaws in that website, and maybe you can report it to them and get some kind of acknowledgement or some kind of reward from them. And the last one will be wi-fi hacking. So how can we hack different kinds of wi-fi, the different wi-fi protocols, and how they can be hacked. So all these lectures will be, I think, covered in like we'll have 15 lectures, and each of these lectures will be 2 hours. And all the trainers who are like who will be taking these lectures have been working in the industry for years, and they have worked in for multiple huge clients. They have recognition from your Department of Defense. They have recognition from Microsoft, Google, Amazon, many of these websites. So I think, ma'am, that will be all from my side, and you can take over from here.
Thank you, sir. Participant, do you have any doubt, any query? Please ask. Otherwise, post in the comments. Now, I would like to thank you, our today's speaker, Mr. Rohit Date, for an informative session on cybersecurity in the digital era. Thank you, sir, for the guidance on cybersecurity course. Sir, we are very grateful for the time and effort you took to share your knowledge and experience with our participants. I thank all the participants for showing keen interest to know about the cybersecurity course. A very big thank you to our Chief Education Officer, Dr. Mala Kharkar, In charge Principal, Dr. Trisha Joseph, Chief Coordinator, Mrs. Ruchita Dalvi, and all the management members for supporting us and giving us opportunity to conduct the webinar. I would also like to thank you, our coordinators of Department of Information Technology, Mrs. Namrata Kaure Shinde and Mrs. Manali Patil Save, coordinators of Computer Science. Our BSc coordinator, co-coordinator Mr. Chayan Bhattacharya for their constant guidance and encouragement, and thank you to all ITCS faculties. Last but not the least, thank you to all the participants for enthusiastically participating in this event. Before concluding the session, I will request you to fill the feedback form and to show the positive response towards the 15-day cybersecurity certification course. Participant with a positive response for the cybersecurity certification course will get the detailed course voucher through email. The email is being posted in the chat box. So kindly give your valuable feedback. With this, I conclude the session. Thank you once again. Good day, stay safe, stay connected, and keep learning.